So where did computer ransomware all begin, you might be asking? Well, the first case of ransomware occurred when a floppy disk was sent through ordinary postal mail from London in the UK to thousands of attendees at a World Health Organization conference way back in 1989. That was well before the internet or broadband as we know it today. These diskettes masqueraded as containing important information about the AIDS illness, which would have been relevant for all the attendees at the conference. A few days after installation, the malware that was contained on the disks activated and encrypted or hid files on the computer and presented the user with a message. The ransom message demanded $189 to be sent to a Panamanian P.O. Box number in return for the decryption key. This ransomware became known as the AIDS Trojan ransomware. Police in the UK's New Scotland Yard identified the perpetrator and prevented many more disks being mailed to other victims. So in this case, there was clearly an identified victim, malware distribution method, a ransom demand, and a means of anonymously paying the ransom to get the decryption keys. So this attack contained all the key elements of modern day crypto ransom attacks. And that's really why I want to show you this slide. Every month there's new variations and variants of ransomware becoming available. I merely want to show you how things have progressed since the original release of ransomware. This area is continuously changing. Ransomware is becoming more clever and more widespread every day. Let's jump through some samples of what has happened over the years. In 2005, a variant known as GP Coder was discovered. This malware was identified in May 2005 and affected a number of different Windows operating systems. Again, this ransomware encrypted files, deleting the unencrypted versions from the system, and demanded a ransom to be paid. In 2010, a new variant of ransomware was discovered. This one was called Winlock, and instead of sending a check to a P.O. Box number or using some other anonymous way of sending money for the ransom amount, the novel approach with this malware was that it used premium rate SMS messages, so text messages from a mobile phone, in order to cash in on the criminal activity. This malware did not encrypt the files on the system. Instead, it purely popped up messages and appeared to lock the computer, so the users were encouraged or forced to pay the ransom. 2 years later, in 2012, another locking malware was identified in the wild. This one was referred to as Reviton. Reviton presented the user with a message claiming to be from law enforcement and gave the victim the option of paying a fine in lieu of criminal charges. Of course, this was a hoax message, and many victims fell for it, so it became a very, very lucrative criminal activity for the malware writers. This is what the user was presented on screen. Their IP address was listed, as well as a demand for the ransom. Of course, many victims fell for this bogus warning and paid the ransom in order to get access back to their computer. Reviton was so common, the FBI published alerts informing users about this malware. Have a listen to this.
A new internet virus is holding computers across the United States and beyond hostage. I'm Molly Halpern of the Bureau, and this is FBI This Week. The ransomware, called Reviton, installs itself onto the computer without the user's knowledge. Then the computer freezes. A bogus message from the FBI pops up on the screen saying the user violated federal law. To unlock their computer, the user must pay a fine. Supervisory Special Agent
2013 was something of a milestone year for ransomware. CryptoWall started using Bitcoin for payment of ransom. CryptoWall was very common in the US and also in the UK. Another first for 2013 was Android Defender. This was a fake antivirus software program for the Android devices. 2014 brought yet even more ransomware with Torrent Locker, CTP Locker and Simple Locker. During 2015, we've seen additional variants such as Peacock and Tesla Script, all ransomware related. 2016 had some milestones as well, including Locky, which was very common and distributed through Microsoft Office documents, and KeyRanger, the very first Mac OS X ransomware appeared. So where are we going next? Ransomware is going to become a much bigger problem with all the connected devices we have today. Think of your watch, your car, your CCTV system for your home. All these devices can become victims for a ransomware attack. This problem is not going away anytime soon.